Hello, and welcome back to another video in our series for onboarding of workshop software. Today, what we're going to discuss are the details and concepts that are involved with doing an integration with your accounting system. Now, what I'm going to do first of all is to bring you over to a product, all right, to give you a bit of an idea of exactly what's involved here. So if we look at a cabin filter as an example, you'll notice that in all of your products, your product descriptions, right, you do have a field which is called type. Now, type is one of the following 6 types of product. It's either stock, labor, a sublet, a consumable, an accessory, or a tire, right? By default, if you don't put anything in yourself, right, then workshop software will automatically come in and default that to stock, all right? And it's very, very important that you understand this concept, because this is going to give you the management reporting detail, and it's also going to write to the correct account in your accounting integration when that's taken place. So what I'm going to do right now is come over to here. What I'd like to do is give you a little bit of a detail. So when doing an accounting integration, there are various different options which are available to you in terms of how you would like your reporting to look on the profit and loss of your accounting system. In some instances, right, you can have a very, very generalized reporting detail, which is that you're going to say that all of your revenue, all right, is going to go into one account, which is called sales. So all of the options which I've shown you, such as labor, stock, consumables, accessories, would all go simply into one account on your profit and loss, right? Please bear in mind, you always need to have a GL code for any of your accounts, and you would have to have a name for them, right? The next option that is available to you is some workshops will turn around and say that they would prefer to have slightly more detail, but still not very much, insofar as they may turn around and go, we're going to divide the revenue that we get from workshop software into labor sales, and everything else goes into stock. Again, this is a relatively generalized option. Most workshops will tend to want to see all of the revenue that they're making in the workshop broken up into the various different accounts, all right, that will give them a much clearer picture of how well the workshop is traveling and where all the money is being made, what percentage of it is in labor, what percentage of it is in stock, consumables, accessories, etc. All right. Something to bear in mind is that if a workshop does not sell a particular type of item, such as tires, for example, right, this can simply be mapped over to the stock revenue account. All right. And in that way, any products that ever do get mapped over to tire revenue when they're being entered into the system will actually report to the stock account in the accounting system. But generally, you should that's how you would manage that, right? Sublet revenue will go to there, accessories revenue will go to there, consumables and stock, labor, etc. Right? You'll notice that there's also a freight income account. All right. If you've been very, very used to using an accounting system simply to run the workshop, and you're new to workshop software, then you will have noticed that within your accounting system, there is no real place to allocate freight except as a line item in your product set. That is not at all the case with workshop software. For both supplier invoices and for customer invoices, there is a very specific place to actually put in to enter the freight, either cost or the freight revenue. Right. What I'm going to do now is just bring you across to this page over here. All right. I'm going to maximize that. Now, there are 3 accounting packages which will work with workshop software. They'll integrate completely. The first is Xero. And in the Xero accounting system, all your supplier and customer invoices and payments are created in workshop software. And when they are processed, they will automatically get passed over or synced to Xero on a real-time basis. So if a invoice is created for a customer at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that is processed at 10 o'clock in the morning, then as soon as that is processed, that will show up in the Xero accounting file. All right. And Xero is also the only accounting system where the integration will allow that both the customer and supplier invoices can actually be paid in Xero, and that transaction will then pass back over to Workshop software. And again, this is done on a real-time basis, all right, and it's simply synced when you process the transaction in Xero. With MYOB and with QuickBooks, right, the scenario is that all of your customer and supplier invoices and payments are created in Workshop software, and when they are processed, they will automatically get passed over or synced to MYOB or QuickBooks, right? Please be aware for all MYOB users that the MYOB version that you are using must be MYOB account right for the cloud, and for QuickBooks, it needs to be QuickBooks Online, all right? So there you have that information. Now, what I'm going to do is bring you over to what is basically the integrations page for the accounting systems, right? Because there are a couple of details here that are actually quite important. Right. So when you've done an integration between your accounting system and you're restarting the integration between your accounting system and Workshop software, you will get this window. Will pop up in the accounting integration page. So in there, you would have the name of your organization, your workshop. All right. These accounts up at the top here, above this line, right, are all your revenue accounts. So as mentioned before, you can allocate to labor or to stock or to consumables, etc. Or you can just use a generalized or a slightly less generalized version of whichever account you would like to allocate. And here you will see that there is a freight revenue account, right, which is exactly what I mentioned earlier on in the video. The credit account generally will be your stock account, because if you're going to receive a credit, all right, from a supplier, that will get allocated to as a credit transaction, and that will go against your stock revenue. The credit refund account will tend to be your general bank account, all right, if you're going to receive a credit in cash, right, or direct deposit or whatever, right, then that will go into your bank account. The rounding account was covered in an earlier video, and it relates more to supplier invoices than anything else, and it needs to be nominated as the specific rounding account in that accounting system. In Xero, there is a dedicated rounding account which is called rounding, and that's where this account would be mapped to. Your supplier invoice account will be generally your cost of goods account, right? Here is your freight expense account, which is converse to the freight revenue account over here. So you can compare the two accounts, all right, in order to determine that you are actually making money on freight or at least breaking even. Your supplier credit account, okay, is when your supplier issues you a credit, that will go against your purchases, okay, which are allocated over here as the cost of sales account. You choose the default payment type for most of your customers, whether that be cash or direct deposit or FPOS. And your customer payment account is generally going to be your bank account where customers will pay money into. And the supplier payment account will be, again, your bank account, which is where the money comes out of when you're paying your suppliers. Then it's a matter of allocating your tax type in Xero. That would be GST on income, and that would be GST on expenses. These slightly vary when you're dealing with MYOB and or QuickBooks. All right. I believe that MYOB is going to be GST on purchases, and the sales tax type would be GST. Right. And again, I think there's a slight alteration to that in QuickBooks as well. And in some of the integrations, you will also be asked if there is a GST-free tax type, right? And also your rounding account will be a GST-free account. All right. That covers the detail of how you do an accounting integration with Workshop software. Generally, what you will see at the top of the page, by the way, is when you open up the integration page, you will see that there is an error message at the top. And before you actually save your, before you actually save your changes that you've made for your integration to make that go live, what you will need to do is to get rid of close the error message and then save. You will see a green bar across the top of the page here. And if your integration is working correctly, you will not get a return of that error message. Right. The next step that you would do if you were going to do an integration is you will find the icon for your accounting package up here in the top right hand corner. That will be either the Xero icon or MYOB or QuickBooks. And once you've completed your integration and save that, you can then sync over all of your details from either Workshop to the accounting system or the accounting system over to Workshop software. All right. That covers the detail of how, or of all the issues that you need to be aware of relative to doing an accounting integration, right? So you'd simply come in here, you pick your accounting integration, whichever one you want, right? Come in there, save that. Okay. You authorize your integration to happen. It brings you over to the identifier page on in your accounting system, and that will say you're trying to connect to this particular accounting file. You click on yes, and then you proceed to go ahead, and it will come back and bring you back to this window over here, right, which is your integration page. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that clarifies all of the details that you need for performing your accounting integration. Please be aware that within Workshop software, you can go to the help guides and resources. And for each one of the accounting systems, you will find a help guide relative to exactly how to carry out your integration. Thank you.